the Minneapolis St. Film Festival. Over 150 movies, 160 movies in 2 weeks. I bought a gold pass, which allows you in to as many movies as you can see. In 2 weeks, I saw 31 movies. I've been to festivals in the past and seen a lot of movies, and I don't remember many of the movies I saw. So this year I decided that I would not allow myself to forget it, even though forgetting is something that we have learned. We forget because we have all these tools to remember things by. But I wasn't going to forget all of these movies. I was going to take notes of them this year. I decided the obvious time to take notes would be after the film, but then everyone's leaving and you're leaving and you have to go to another movie, so it wasn't a good time to take notes after the movie. And if I waited a while, I would already be forgetting the movie. I decided that the only time I could take notes would be during the movie, so I chose to take notes and make drawings while the movies played.
I wish you good.
Sometimes that meant that I drew or wrote on the same page multiple times because I was not able to keep track, but slowly my fingers got a way to know which pages I had written on and which I hadn't. Sometimes I tried to draw entire scenes, but mostly I drew faces.
The money was
because
deceptive.
Faces are the landscape of the mind. Faces are how the outward sign of our consciousness. Faces are how so much of communication happens, and particularly in movies, which are all about faces. The problem with movies is that the images cut from one to another so quickly that I did not have time to really see a face, or really had time to draw the face that I saw. So the face would be gone, cut to something else. I would still be trying to drawing it, but then I would have to stop drawing it because I needed to go on and pay attention to the movie.
It's a trick.
To interact with it in a way.
Yeah, to interact with it so I could forget it. But I mean, maybe it's easier to forget if you have pictures. You know, the reason that people take home movies and family pictures is so it makes it easier to forget that time. They don't have to remember it because now they have the photographs that equal that.
What to do.
And also to work on blind contours.
Blind contours?
Yeah. Which is drawing in the dark.
Okay.
Not looking at your...
I didn't know the technical term. If I do it in the dark, you know, it's like I release personal responsibility from drawing. Yeah, the ego thing. And now it's not me, it's the darkness that's drawing of it. It's a way for me to abdicate my responsibility.
You can't realize dreams.
What about what your subject?
Silence to think, feel.
I mean, I noticed that you draw a lot of like old guys.
Well, maybe just everyone looks like an old guy in my drawing. I was just trying to draw faces, and the problem is that so many of the faces on the screen for just a short time. So, which is only, I mean, when you see a face for a short time like that in a movie, all you get is the kind of the stereotype anyway.
And celluloid,
not the
we
real
trust.
face, not the
I
whole
cannot
landscape.
hear what you say
I
for the
like
number that you are.
Like early on, I tried to draw some of the some images, you know, just the images of the sets or whatever of the films. I ended up, all my later drawings are really just of faces. That's what I ended up.
Filmmaking is not show and tell.
And your writing is very it's cool that you retained that. We started going back and
the magic is part of the chemistry.
Because the writing itself in the dark, it's as indecipherable as the images are. So.
Yeah.
So
even more.
Even more. Yeah, it's
because I actually thought I
illegible.
recognized that Richard Edson.
Oh, really?
I should have said that, and I would have been a moment.
Yeah. Well, I'm still recording this, so now we're out of body anyway. The writing turns into an abstract drawing, rather than anything that refers back to the world.
Do you think you're going to they'll be a part of the drawings then? Will you remove those from you scan them in?
Basically, I scan in 4 pictures at a time, 2 sketchbooks side by side, and then I go through and crop, each image, one by one out of it, and now then after I've done maybe a third of those, and then I have to go back and I'm gonna do some tweaking to change the contrast and get rid of the edge of the, I have little bits of, just stuff that I want to get rid of, where you see a little bit of another sketch and things like that. Or maybe I won't. I don't know yet.
Yeah, it
help.
certainly takes longer than the drawing.
Because that was like the first or second day when I started drawing, I realized that no, I was drawing this because I was going to make a video out of it.
In 1991.
So the whole reason for the drawings wasn't to draw, but it was to draw so I could make some kind of movie project, so I could take the movies and digest them and then excrete them out as another movie. So, about my impressions of seeing the movies.
She had a minor deficiency, maybe
I used to delude myself
everybody should go.
about the project with movies.
What happened to your band?
Yeah, to me it's somewhat sickening, the whole idea that movies are made that are self-referential to earlier movies rather than they're trying to be some kind of reflection of the world or the universe around us, or the emotion or the or how people interact or all this. So many people are making movies that are a response to earlier movies they saw.
It's unconscious how,
Yeah.
largely.
Try not to kill ourselves. We die of other causes.
It's like a kind of holding that notion that we really react to
Today I'm
artwork,
going
that
on a
we're
mission.
really
We
responding.
didn't see each other.
Like instead of making a movie about a person, you're making a movie about the sentiment that person reminds you of or something. And it has to be like described within the parameters of other movies that remind you of this person.
Well, that's because our response to movies is based on our responses to other movies, and it's that whole. But that's also our whole world. Our whole world is a creation. The whole world around us, really. I mean, it's the way that we interpret it. It's all
self-created.
Yeah, and it's all based on. A city is based on another city, which is based on images of cities.
That has a very
Seems like a lot
kind of empty feeling. Where did they start?
The
Like
percentage of
Robert
our
Rodriguez
thoughts
started
must be
his
tiny.
movie with
Still feels like
knowing he had access to a bus,
drag
a dog, a guitar, a pretty woman. Like identifying that.
To wrap up this film?
It has completely abstracted me from
More stories.
what I'm trying to say.
The whole illusion that he might be creating a piece of art that says something about the world is not. What he's doing is he's taking a certain amount of elements, a certain amount of raw materials, and he's transforming them into a product based on a manufacturing process.
People have thought that thought before.
It was a silent crybaby.
And it's like the thoughts are already there. It's still like a map. You can find your way through it.
If there was something that was so completely new and real and not abstracted from life, if someone was actually putting down their guts and their emotions onto film or video, that no one would be able to deal with it, no one would be able to interpret it, because their interpretation of movies is based on other movies they've seen. So they can interpret Rodriguez's film because his films are like other films, and if he was actually to make a film straight from his heart, no one but he in his heart would have any idea of what it was all about.
When you spend all your time, I put your golden image in my notebook.
I find it very difficult, if not impossible, to speak about a film right after I've seen it. Watching a movie and being absorbed into the world of the film is, I suppose, a kind of a lobotomizing kind of process. But then, after I've seen a good film, a film that affects me, a film that's powerful, then a few minutes or hours later, I'm back to my own thoughts, and they're enriched by that experience.